Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ZOWIE Gear NA Open. I am Wyrd. With me here is ZombieGrub, and streaming for us this evening is Kuren TV. And, well, this will be the first, and what will hopefully be many more ZOWIE tournaments on the NA scene. But I guess we're starting into our first game now. But, yeah, I'm really excited to start this. Zombie, how are you feeling right now? You feeling good?
I'm feeling really good. Arthur was a pleasant surprise, and that is who will be casting Arthur versus Gemini.
Yeah, Arthur, just the online cup champion, man. He is going to be our first match this evening, and we are loaded into the map here. So jumping right in, our first map being Belshir Vestige, and spawning in the lower right portion, he is the yellow Protoss player, Arthur. And his opponent in the upper left, the blue, or teal, I should say, Protoss player. He is Gemini. So we're starting off with a mirror matchup on Belshir Vestige. Get things nice and toasty for the evening to come.
Toasty, because
Toasty.
it's winter. Um, but yeah, so this is a really good start off, match. Like surprisingly good. Got to be honest. You have a lot of NA players obviously coming into this, and technically it says NA Open Arthur, and at least one or two other Koreans have joined, as well as some other people from different countries, and that's all good. But uh, it's it was surprising to get them, straight off the bat. Maybe we don't know the first few players for the first, four matches, something like that, and then we start meeting the people that get recognized. But right off the bat, we got someone.
Yeah, it's really cool. We have a couple other, strong names in this tournament as well. A lot of, good NA players, as the name would suggest. We have Sasquatch, I believe, participating this evening. Bonker Rooney, Keyfire. A lot of strong NA players, probably names you've seen before if you've watched any North American tournaments. So definitely something I hope, will keep going on as long as we have more regular NA tournaments. The more we can see of these players, both, stars like Arthur and up-and-comers as well. Perhaps like Gemini here, who was a Masters player, and he was a little surprised as well to see Arthur as his first opponent. We'll see if he can hold his own, though.
Yeah, it was quite a fun. It was pretty funny. He comes in after I invite him. He says, "Real Arthur?" Like exclamation point, question mark. And we're like, "Yeah." And he said he was lucky, was it? So I think he's more than just being like, "Oh man, no, I'm never gonna get through." He's excited.
Yeah, he's feeling good about it, and gets to get streamed as well, so it's excellent. Some good exposure for him. And well, yeah, taking a look, we have both these players taking two gases. And Gemini, however, has saturated his fully quite a bit earlier than Arthur, who is still operating off of two. So Arthur likely looking for an earlier Nexus, possibly off of two Stalkers here, or maybe just a quick Mothership Core, whereas Gemini can be going for any type of aggressive opening. Could be a Stargate, could be Twilight Council.
Yep, and Arthur scouts this. This is very obvious when you put both guys, three in both gases. It's very obvious, so they're going to keep the probe in there as long as possible, and if the stalker pops out, then they'll leave and probably start checking for proxies, honestly. I know that there's at least one Protoss player who, because it is so obvious, it's a very high chance you're going to get scouted whatever you're doing, but a Dominus, who was streaming today, actually, he played in WCS EU Challenger League. He would go for a Stargate, and then in his base, show it to his opponent, and then go ahead and proxy a Dark Shrine somewhere else in the map. And it was pretty darn cool, and it really did surprise his opponent. And Gemini, though, he's not the one who gets Twilight Council. Arthur gets his Twilight Council first.
Yeah, very interesting. Possibly in response to any aggression from his opponent. I like what Gemini's doing here, scouting with the Mothership Core. Not going too far, just using the Sentry Mothership Core to scout for any proxy pylons,
Ooh.
proxy tech. He's going to catch this probe, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a really nice pickup for him. Kind of surprising. I guess that's like a semi-common place to put something, put a proxy pylon or what have you. So that's at least one less probe, a little bit more hassle for Arthur to send another one out if he does want that proxy pylon. And he does. He's going for that blink and an extra gateway, so at least three gateways. He's definitely going to be applying some pressure onto Gemini. And meanwhile, Gemini's still not choosing what to do with all that gas that he had. No cheese, no high tech, nothing like that. Just very safe with a lot of sentries.
Yeah, he's actually doing pretty much the safest build in the meta right now. It's just two gates, you get a sentry, two stalkers, and two sentries. You can hold off pretty much anything as long as you're on top of it, as long as you make sure no DT walks up, as long as you're able to force field your ramp so they can't all blink on top of you, that sort of thing. So Gemini is going to send out a hallucinated Phoenix to scout, see what he can see. and he did lay down his Nexus. So at this point, he's deciding, am I canceling this Nexus? Let's see what this Phoenix sees, and I'll make the decision based off that. Because Arthur, as you said, 3 gates. He's going to be aggressive with this. No Nexus from him yet. Proxy Pylon is planted for the yellow Protoss player, and the aggression is going to start coming in.
Gemini has scouted this. He sees the Twilight Cancel, knows that it's working as well, so that's definitely Blink, and Arthur is starting the aggression. Of course, Blink won't finish for quite another few seconds, but, you know, starting the aggression right now, you put them back into their base, take them away to force hold sometimes, and definitely get the cancel on the Nexus is always good. Pretty sure Gemini is not going to be able to hold this, no matter how hard he tries. It's just not going to work with the, you know, the units that he has. Maybe if he had an Immortal out right now, but he's only just not getting a Robo. He might try and push down here, but it'll be so risky.
Yeah, it really is. You know, fortunately for Gemini, it's not a finished Nexus, so he can just go ahead and cancel it, not lose too much, especially since Arthur hasn't laid down a Nexus of his own. He blinks up past the force field, gets right on top of the Mothership Core, just barely gets the Photon Overcharge down, but Gemini's still going to suffer some heavy losses here, and Arthur can just blink out.
I think he was expecting Arthur to be a little more hesitant about that, but Arthur just went right for it, gets all the sentries and the Motion Core, as you mentioned. So at this point, he is going to try and do whatever he can. Of course, blinking back really, really well, and actually Gemini just GG's. It's not even going to
GG's out.
Attempt to hold that any longer. So a little unfortunate rough start for Gemini. Arthur being very bold and, you know, of course, being the professional player against the non-professional player, probably a little confident.
Yeah, probably some nerves, you know, in there. And, you know, getting blinked upon is one of the scariest things that can happen to you in StarCraft 2. When you're like, oh god, my opponent is confident enough to blink on top of my entire army. Good lord. And it's pretty much happened on Gemini there. He lost the sentries. He wasn't really able to manage a defense of any kind. So we saw GG there. Now it is a best of 3 guys, so we do still have, you know, at least one more game to go. It is going to be Gemini's pick, so hopefully he can find something he's comfortable with here. In the meantime, guys, be sure to check out ZOWIEgear.com. Of course, this is ZOWIE's tournament. They're putting forth the prizes, which of course are a ZOWIE Myco mouse and the ZOWIE mouse pad. I believe it's a TG Rough. Very cool. You can check out all that gear on their website. I'm going to talk to Gemini here, see what his map will be, but pretty abrupt game 1 there.
Yeah, very, very abrupt. I feel like Gemini's build didn't really, you know, it was never really going to handle it as well as it could have. Obviously, the Immortal was really late. He just, like, the Robo finished as that happened. And, I mean, he knew it was coming. He scouted it. Like, he knew. But it was just, you know, no matter what you did, it was going to be hard to defend because all it takes is a Mothership Core to get that Hag-on vision, and sentries are kind of worthless, honestly.
Yeah, he didn't, you know, we were not able to block against Blink Stalkers, and he was kind of waffling a little bit. You know, the Nexus was kind of late, and the tech, obviously, the robotics facility was very late as well. So he didn't make a decision. He just wanted to get a hallucinated Phoenix out there to use that information to make a decision, but he didn't get it out there quick enough, and by the time he was able to read what Arthur was doing, Arthur was on his doorstep. Now, it looks like his map choice is going to be Akalon here. Away from you.
Uh-oh. I think you just...
Yeah. Oh, am I still here? Yeah, guys, I don't know if any of you are on the East Coast in America right now, but there's a lot of wind. There's like 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds blowing everything to pieces. So if I cut out, it's because hell is on my doorstep. Just so you know. Just so don't worry about me. It'll be fine.
I had that overnight. I woke up like a bajillion times this night because the wind was so loud.
Yeah, it is. It's getting pretty brutal over here. All right, I've just gotten into Akalon now. I will invite our players.
Now I'm looking for artist's account on here. I don't see it. Wonder if he's underneath someone else.
Oh yeah, I don't know if anyone has actually tossed a link for the brackets into chat, but I'll go ahead and do that here so you guys can take a look at exactly what our play looks like this evening. And I did have Arthur. There we go. Gemini, there we go. Who are we missing? No one. We're all here. Except Arthur. He'll be here eventually. He's been invited. That's what's important. He got his invitation. Will he RSVP? We'll see. All right. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Now make sure to... excuse me. Make sure to spread the word. Tell your friends. Tweet the stream to make sure we can get lots of representation here for the ZOWIE NA Open. Definitely something we want to continue to do in the future. And just one moment, guys. We're going to set up this map. We're going to go for a short break. We'll be back in just a second.